Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios, Kokomlemle in Accra, at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country, including Pad FM in Delmongo, Jubilee FM in Keta, and Sunshine FM in Boko. It's on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, Digibank, Let's Go, Super Sim Cement, Build Your Dream, and Telesol 4G, just a touch. In this edition, members of Ghana Union of Traders Association vow to extend lockup of shops owned by foreigners to other parts of the country to compel government to do more on that. We are live in Benin as well for the situation, the latest in that situation. Also in sports,
Black Meteors coach Ibrahim Tanko names his starting team or squad for this month's CAF Under-23 Nations Cup in Egypt. Join me in 24 details.
And also later, minority in parliament calls for immediate suspension of the free SHS ambassadors being used as a vehicle to campaign for President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Also, some Ghanaian traders resort to alternative means of moving their goods into Nigeria as the country refuses to reopen its borders with Benin. Also, former President Rawlings has urged Ghanaians to help defend media freedom as he rejects assertions there was a culture of silence during his tenure.
Drawing attention back to audio made it attractive when the thing began to catch on. So I'm sorry, a culture of silence.
All that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. And our very first story, it appears Ghanaians have found an alternative of moving their goods into Nigeria, irrespective of the closure of the country's borders. Nigerian authorities shut the border with Benin in August this year, citing smuggling and other criminal activities as reasons for the action. As you know, Ghanaian authorities have been meeting with their Nigerian counterparts as traders lament the impact on their businesses. Joy News Head of Security Desk Gifty Andopia visited the Beninois hub of cross-border activities with Nigeria and reports.
This is Tokpa Market. It is one of the biggest in Cotonou. As a matter of fact, some people say it's the biggest market in West Africa. It's been well over 10 hours for us to get here from Ghana to assess the situation at the Benin-Nigerian border following the closure of the Nigerian border. It's been very difficult establishing stranded Ghanaian businesses, but what is not in doubt is that several businesses here have been affected. Several Nigerians who work here, several Beninois businesses are complaining. But what is very interesting to note, though, is that they will not go on record. There seems to be an intense fear among the populace about speaking on this matter. Some say there are political undertones, and some say there is a disciplinary committee set up here in Benin, and that prosecutes people, or if you like, takes people to tribunal for saying the least thing wrong. And so they're very hesitant to talk to me. But they tell me cash inflows have been affected severely, and they say prices of goods have gone up. In fact, Bloomberg has reported that inflation in Nigeria has gone up. And this is all because Nigeria says it wants to cut down on smuggling of food, especially rice. What we can confidently report also is that despite the closure of the border, there are several illegal routes which are being plied by smugglers. Kifsi Andapia, Joy News, Kota Market, Cotonou, Benin.
We'll join Gifty and Rapia shortly, but whilst Benin nationals fear to speak, their Nigerian counterparts brave the odds to call out their country for criticism over the closure of the border. Listen to some of them.
Last week when I went to Nigeria, I was coming back, Badagry to be precisely. I saw some people with takeaway packs were being seized by customs, and the question is, what are they doing with takeaway packs? Is that a problem? It's affecting both the neighboring countries. It's affecting we in the diaspora that are doing one businesses or the other. It's affecting us. I want to see the border open as soon as possible.
The border closure has been affecting us so bad that even in our business, we don't know how to manage it. Before the border closure, our goods have been coming in easily for us. But since the closure of the border, things are no more coming in as it used to be before. nothing's working again.
We're still working the lines and we'll get to the Benin border and speak to head of security desk, Gifty Andopia, who's joining us now on the phone lines. Gifty, thank you very much for your time here on the Midday News. So you've been at the border. You report about the situation and the effect of the Nigerian closure of their borders. Exactly what is happening as we speak?
As we speak, I'm at a place where I see dozens of trucks, which are the trucks being impounded here. The trucks that are not being allowed, trucks and goods. I'm saying I cannot count them. They look like a little over 100. I see some on my left side and I see some on my right side, and that's because I've just been able to cross over from the Benin side to the Lagos side with much difficulty, I must say. Now, what happens is that whilst we're traveling, you realize that if you have an amount of goods on you, the officers are going to stop you and find out what's in it. Sometimes they'll allow you to go because
we'll try and get a better connection to Gifty Andopier's line. You can understand because of the situation there. Looks like we have a terrible connection to her, but we're still working the lines, and then we'll get a better connection to Gifty Andopia. Then we can speak to her again about the situation as she's witnessing. Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo has presented 450,000 CFA to Ghanaian drivers who were stranded at a town on the Nigerian-Benin border. The drivers have been unable to cross since Nigeria shut its border with Benin on August 21. The situation has led to hundreds of vehicles, mostly articulated trucks, being locked at both ends of the border. Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, Carlos Ahinkra, handed the money to the drivers at a meeting yesterday.
We at least 5,000 CFA.
We are giving an amount of 5,000 CFA to everyone here for you to buy some food. The money will be left with the embassy. Please let your behavior reflect the character of our nation. You know, Ghanaians are celebrated as calm and law-abiding. Don't allow your attitude to tarnish the image of Ghana. Even in your pain, do not forget that you are true ambassadors of our nation. Eyes are on you. I especially entreat the bus conductors whose masters have left them in charge of their vehicles to keep watch over the cars diligently.
You heard the Deputy Trade Minister, Carlos Ahinkra. We'll go back to head of our security desk, Gifty Andopia, who is at the Benin border as we speak. So we understand that Benin nationals are afraid to speak on the matter. Why is that, Gifty?
So you asked earlier what was happening at the border. I've actually just moved away from the Benin border into Lagos. I've crossed over to the Lagos side. It's quite chaotic here, I must say. What happens is that there are rigorous checks before you enter. And if you are entering with a certain amount of goods, you are not allowed to. They'll take it, they'll search it, and if they're considered personal effects, sometimes they'll allow you to let it go. But otherwise, you are not allowed to. I've seen dozens of trucks, I mean, more than dozens. I think they're going to count to about 100 or more, which have been impounded here, which are unable to move. Regarding the reason why the Beninois seem to be scared of speaking, yesterday I approached about 10 business people just to talk to me about how the border closure is affecting their business, and they were afraid to speak. They mentioned something called Le Créate, and they said it's some sort of tribunal which operates in Benin, and if you speak in the media on matters and you're not careful, you might appear before that tribunal. So they were very afraid to speak. But some of their Nigerian counterparts have been very outspoken, calling out their own countries, and they've been very critical of this decision taken by Nigeria.
And there's an apparent absence of Ghanaians at the border now. Is that the situation?
Right. There is. It's very difficult to find any Ghanaian on the Benin side of the border. I spent almost all of yesterday there, and I could not really trace any Ghanaians. Now, 4 things could have happened. When I asked, I was told that some of them have found other alternatives of sending their goods to Ghana, including perhaps airlifting them. Some were told that have given up and they've gone home. In fact, I checked with Guta, and they said that some of their members who were here have actually abandoned their goods or either sent them back into Lagos and gone back to Ghana, waiting for the situation to be resolved. But we also know that just on Wednesday, whilst we were on our way here, that the government delegation also flew in and have been meeting them. It could well also be that the engagement with some of these Ghanaians have either helped them find a way or just given them, the government has just given them the assurances to give it some time. So that perhaps explains, these 4 scenarios explain the apparent absence of Ghanaians on the other side, on the Benin side. On the Lagos side, though, MFA, I'm seeing a lot of people. It's quite chaotic here, even though business isn't really going on. Smugglers are doing their business, but it's difficult to tell who is Ghanaian, and that's what I'm at the moment trying to figure out.
So let's finally talk about smuggling, the very reason why the Nigerian borders are shut. What can you report?
Well, MFA, what we know, according to Nigerian authorities, is that they've had to close the border because of smuggling. What I can report on authority is that smuggling is booming. In fact, if for anything at all, it's giving the smugglers more impetus, and they are really operating underground. Now, because you are unable to go through officially, they are all over the place. Yesterday, more than about 15 people approached us, asking us if we want to cross over and if we have goods and if we have documents. They were like, it doesn't matter. Once you give us money, we can take you across. So I can report that the smuggling is booming, really, around here. And
Head of Security Desk Gifty and Apia reporting from the Benin border. But back home in Ghana, some retailers have been expressing worry about the impact of the border closure on their businesses. You may think that the closure affects only big businesses, but some retailers who sell handbags here at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle say they are also unable to restock. Listen.
I think the border closure will really affect traders, and in fact, not only traders but everyone. Imagine that you're looking for an item to buy on the market and you are not getting it. For me, it's affecting me because I sell bags, which I import from Nigeria. Lately, we are out of stock. The type I want is out of stock, so it's really affecting us. We are asking the government to immediately deal with the situation because Christmas is just around the corner and everyone is hot. Everyone needs money to celebrate Christmas, so we are pleading with government to resolve the problem as soon as possible and have the border opened.
We want to urge the Nigerian government to open the border so we can move the goods we bought in Nigeria to Ghana. The situation is really affecting us. I'm a customer here. I came to buy some things and was told the prices had gone up. When I asked why, I was told it's because of the border closure.
You hear that some traders at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. MP for Boko Central Mahama Yaraga has linked the recent closure of shops owned by foreigners in Kumasi to the closure of Nigerian borders to Ghanaian traders. He believes Ghanaian traders have resorted to such action in protest of government's failure to deal with the situation. The Boko Central legislator argues that until Nigeria adheres to the ECOWAS protocol, there will be pockets of reprisals from the affected countries. Meanwhile, joining us learning that foreign business operators at Swami Magazine and the Central Business District of Kumasi still have their shops locked up by their Ghanaian counterparts more than 24 hours after the action. The Ghana Union Traders Association, GUTA, says it is disappointed the country's law enforcement and other agencies for failing to enforce laws barring foreigners from engaging in retail trade. Listen to GUTA Secretary for Ashanti Region, Daniel Owaheni Champong, who says the association will not be deterred in pursuing their stance on ridding the market of illegalities.
We have met the government on so many occasions. We sit down with them, especially the Ministry of Trade, and whenever you engage them, what they say is that they admit that the laws should work, but who should enforce the laws? The state agencies, especially the Immigration Service, the GIPC, the Standard Authority, that the GSA, Ghana Standard Authority, and the likes. But we don't see these state institutions coming to the ground to enforce our laws. These foreigners come here, and then the only thing that they do is they set up tabletops, and then they start trading without conforming or without making sure that all these laws that we have spoken about, they satisfy them. So what we are saying is that enough is enough. We will go to the grounds. When we come to the foreigners, we will tell them to shut the door, and then we tell you that the laws of the land does not permit you to do the retailing.
That's the secretary, the Guta secretary for Shanti region, Daniel Wahini Champong. Nanaya Asenso has been monitoring the situation since yesterday, and he joins us on the line. So Nanaya, yesterday you reported that some of the shops in Kumasi were open. You went back today. What did you find?
Yeah, this morning our checks at the various places where the shops were closed yesterday. These places these shops at Solo Magazine are still locked. We've checked like more than 20 shops that were locked last 2 days are still under lock and key.
So that's the situation still in Kumasi. But you've been interacting with some of your authorities, though. What have they been saying differently from what they told you yesterday?
The authorities, especially the leadership of the Guta Central region, they are saying that they're not relenting on the exercise, especially closing of the foreign shops. So they are going to make sure that they make sure that it's a full compliance with the DIPC law to make sure that the influx of foreigners in the retail market come to an end.
You heard that my colleague Nanaya Asenso. Now, away from trade issues, the minority in Parliament has called for the immediate suspension of the free SHS ambassadors, which they claim is being used as a vehicle to campaign for President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Their call comes on the back of a viral video in which a teacher is seen asking senior high school students to tell their parents to retain the President Akufo-Addo in the 2020 elections as a way of maintaining the free SHS policy. Listen.
Some of you will register next year so that you can vote this year. The only way you can maintain, you can continue up to Form 3 and complete is by advising your seniors, by advising your parents, advising your brothers, and then your sisters who are there who can vote. Advise them, please. Tell them, please. I want to complete secondary school. So maintain secondary education. Maintain free SHS. This is the only way you can maintain it. By advising them, crying to your parents, crying to your brothers and sisters. Tell them that when they are going to vote, they should think about you. Tell them that they should think about you first. That's the more reason why you are here. Your education is paramount. Your education is paramount. That's why the ambassadors of free SHS are here.
Now, Ranking Member on Parliament's Education Committee, Peter Nochikotre, wants the GES to condemn the act and take the necessary sanctions against the headmaster of the school. He's been speaking to my colleague, Kwesi Parker Wilson.
And it is established that it was at Presbyterian Secondary School, Suhum. Yeah, that's where the event took place. And the ambassador, so-called ambassador, is a teacher. Yeah, he teaches literature. That is what we have been told. I've listened to him, I've listened to his language, and I'm even sorry that he's a teacher teaching literature. No wonder my investigations showed that his candidates at the last WASE literature examination failed woefully. Going forward, it is an abuse of equivalency. We know him very well to be an MPP supporter. That is the ambassador.
Have you verified?
We have verified.
And he's an MPP supporter?
Yes, he's even a so-called special assistant to the MCE for Suhum.
I see.
That is what my investigations have revealed.
I see.
Yeah. So he gathered the students and talking to them that but for now they wouldn't have been in secondary school, so they should convince their siblings, their seniors, their friends and parents to vote for Nana Akufo-Addo. Yeah, but if you remember, somewhere last year or this year, when NDC was going into its elections, internal ones,
okay,
Mr. Kamba was in Timpani Secondary School, just passing through, and he caught the attention of the students and the response that he had. The headmaster was suspended from office and several other places. So if you say as a ministry or GES that the campuses of the ministry or the schools, second cycle schools, should not be used as a campaign ground or any political activity, then what that ambassador is doing is wrong. And the ministry or the GS must come out and condemn it.
Peter Nochukoto is the ranking member on Parliament's Education Committee. Well, the Ghana Education Service says it is investigating the matter to ascertain the facts surrounding it. It has issued a statement, and my colleague Fifi Kumsing has a copy, joins me with details. What more does it say, Fifi?
So it's got a heading, purported video of free SHS ambassadors campaign in senior high schools. And it says, the attention of the Ministry of Education has been drawn to a video circulating on social media purporting to be of a person carrying himself as free SHS ambassador and addressing SHS students. The ministry has also taken notice of a statement by the NDC addressing this video. The ministry wishes to state emphatically that government has not appointed or mandated any person or persons as free SHS ambassadors to go around senior high school campuses in the country to campaign for the government or President Akufo-Addo. The ministry is conducting investigations to ascertain the facts surrounding the video circulating on social media and other related issues. Signed, Echo Vincent Asafua, Communications Director.
As and when we're able to reach him, we'll get some more answers. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Our top story is some Ghanaian traders resort to alternative means of moving their goods into Nigeria as the country refuses to reopen its borders with Benin. We heard from head of security desk Gifty Andoapia, who is live at the Benin border. Still to come, former President Rawlings has urged Ghanaians to help defend media freedom as he rejects assertions there was a culture of silence during his tenure.
Drawing attention back toward you made it attractive, and the thing began to catch on. So I'm sorry, a culture of silence.
And later, if you're a woman and you've been in a failed relationship before, these men have some advice.
Men don't like talking plenty. When I'm talking to my boys, we don't nag, we talk, we communicate. But when women, they nag, they go on and on and on and on and on. And you said the thing and you keep on saying it again.
We have more coming up from George Quay, musician, EL, and actor 10 politician John Dumelo. Do stay for details after this break.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation over the past 45 years. We've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products, and technology. These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we're poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
Thanks for staying with us on the Midday News. Let's do sports now. Benedict Owusu, you have something to tell me?
A lot. Now, Black Meteors coach Ibrahim Tanko has named 12 foreign-based players and 9 home-based players for the CAF Under-23 Nations Cup in Egypt. Now, Holland-born Robin Pole gets to play a first major international tournament. Kobno Owusu, a member of Ghana's squad at this year's Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt, is available to play in that competition. So, looking at the goalkeepers, Kwame Ban of Asante Kotoko, Richmond Ayew of Accra, Tufoke, then Ibrahim Danlad, also from Asante Kotoko defenders. He's called Kingsley Fobi, Edward Sapon, Fuseni Zakaria, Emmanuel Kujo, William Nturi, Inturi Denchi, and then Mohamed Habib, also of Asante Kotoko. I mentioned Robin Poli. For the midfielders, he's called up Evans Osewusu, Simon Zibo, Emmanuel Adukwelo Mote, Yao Yeboah, who is skipper of the team, Evans Mensah, Michael Agbekpono, and then strikers we have Franken Ahin, Kwambena Owusu, Ropapa Mensah, and then Samuel Obin Jaba. Well, the team are currently training here in Accra and expected to leave the country on Monday for Egypt, and the tournament is starting on 8th and will end on November 20. Also serves as qualification to the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games football tournament. Well, Asante Kotoko will be in action this Sunday as they come up against San Pedro of Ivory Coast in the second leg of their CAF Confederation Cup playoff. Now, Kotoko, having won the first leg 1-0, must avoid defeat to progress to the group stage of the competition. Ojo Safo, who was in Kumasi to watch the first leg, insists Coach Zachariasen and his boys have the quality to go through.
I think it's good for them to have a goal here. Supposing it was 2-1, 1-1, it would have been bad for them. But since it was 1-0, and The Ivorians did not come here to play football. They came here to frustrate Kotoko.
And what a season is turning out to be for the Ayus. Andre Ayew has been named the vice captain of English Championship side Swansea City. His brother Jordan Ayew has been named player of the month for October, having scored 2 goals from 3 games for Crystal Palace after Palace won, lost and drew their respective games against West Ham United, Manchester City and Arsenal. And you know what? This is his second player of the month this year in the English Premier League.
Congratulations to him. Thank you very much, Benedict, for the latest from the world of sports. Now, the former president, Jerry John Rawlings, has been speaking, and amongst others, he's rejected assertions that there was a culture of silence during his tenure. He's urged Ghanaians to help defend media freedom in what he describes as a big mistake on the part of individuals and some authorities alike to run down media freedom. He spoke during a courtesy call on him by DJ executives.
When we were kids, we used to hear radio gun at bus stations, etc. in a small box. With the passage of time, TV, black and white, came on board. So people started losing interest in audio and developing the video. Only under our time, because we want to see people exchanging their own thoughts, and not just this one way, the thoughts from a person in authority and down at you. Freedom of soul. We introduced these friends. They started drawing attention back to audio. Made it attractive, and the thing began to catch on. So I'm sorry, Musi, a culture of silence. We deserve all the protection that the public can afford to provide. To see the truth of journalists as a threat, I'm afraid, is making big and serious mistake. Ultimately, we will have to collaborate with one another.
And the age-old feud between himself and the former president, John Agyekum Kufuor, continues. This time, he's comparing his government strategy on family planning with that of his successor.
I never thought I would hear Ghanaian say that now we understand the family planning issue. Now we don't have to have 6, 7, 8 children for fear they will be dying. Now we can just have 2, 3 because of the inoculation. And they live. I heard it in my lifetime. A woman, when we talk, we invite them onto the stage. They would also come and say their piece or ask their question. Within that same campaign, by the time I got to Ashanti Boutique, what was Kufuor doing? Mumba. Yeah. Mumba! I didn't know why. But it wasn't that difficult to find. Numerical numbers, strength, electoral victory must stay in his hands, his people. In Timumuba, it gives him more. You get it? Aha!
Former President Jerry John Rawlings. Now, as women, most of you have questioned yourself why your relationships have failed at one point in time. There are a lot of questions that most of you want answers to. Today on the Super Morning Show with Enimwa Enimadu and Kojo Yankson, PRO for Chatterhouse George Quay, musician EL, and actor 10 politician John Dumelo have this to say to all women who've ever wondered what mistake they made in relationships.
Women, don't worry when a lot of other women are after your man. It means he's a good product. But if no women are interested in your man, don't think it's because he's too holy next to Jesus. He's a useless product. Go for another man.
I think most women are attracted to bad boys, and they're attracted to bad boys because they want to take him up as a project. I'll change him. I'll make him into the kind of man who I want to. Men are always going to be men, but for a woman to take it upon herself as a mission to transform or to change a man, it's a big mistake.
Go straight to the point. Oh, John, this, finish. Within 2 minutes, we finish talking. Men don't like talking plenty. When I'm talking to my boys, we don't nag, we talk, we communicate. But when women, they nag, they go on and on and on and on and on. And you said the thing and you keep on saying it again.
And the men will always have reasons. That's what I think. No matter what you do, all the time they have reasons why we make the mistakes that we make. What about them? But what's trending on social media, Maps?
Well, people are excited. It's the 1st of November and they're talking about hashtag Happy New Month. And Millennium14 says, wishing everyone a beautiful 1st of November. Let us be thankful, embrace all our blessings and those who enrich our lives. At Daisy Days, one says, wishing the new month brings you lots of reasons to celebrate life. Let it be filled with joy, happiness, love. Hashtag Happy New Month. And the last one is from Atamai Tremwald, who say, this month may you enter into all that God has ordained for you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Enjoy November and please be good to us. And that's it for the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. The Living Word is up next with Dr. Mensa Otabel. Do stay.